Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane and welcome back to my channel where I talk all about things thrifty, frugal and money saving, and occasionally I'll chuck in a bit about sustainability because, like many of you I'm sure, I'm trying to be more sustainable and be really aware, even before the energy crisis, of what I use, the fuel I use, the resources I use, what I buy, my kind of consumerist attitude. I'm trying to just get rid of all of that stuff because our planet can't sustain the way we live at the moment. And I have been sent to review the most brilliant product. I think this is a product actually worth spending your money on. I know some of you will say, well, I can make one of those. And I say to you, make one then, because I think they're a brilliant idea. I don't think I have the skills to make one. And I really love the idea of it. And I like the idea of supporting this company. So the thing that I want to review is called a Wonderbag. And it's a type of non-electric slow cooker. It's basically a huge, heavily padded bag with a lid. So that's it, and I'm going to show you myself cooking something on it in a bit. And the reason I like it, as I say, is it's perfect for now. We're all looking to save electricity, to stop using as much fuel. We have an energy crisis in our midst, so it's good for us. It will save us money. So slow cookers generally will save you money, but they still involve some power. This, you have to bring whatever you're cooking to the boil. It has to be boiling, then you put it in the Wonderbag and it cooks itself in its own heat. It just retains the heat in there. So it's a really very simple idea. I think some people used to make hay boxes and it's the same principle. You just create a padded environment for your food to continue cooking. So again, that's something else you could make if you don't want to buy one of these. I like the idea that they are a social enterprise and they are creating employment and opportunities for mostly women in Africa, because a lot of women still in Africa have the burden of collecting firewood, sometimes some distances, and you know that's very physical work as well. Bringing it back and just cooking for some time over an open fire, that's so time consuming. If they didn't have to do that, then they could have opportunities to do other things. So, and Wonderbag tries to give them those opportunities. It employs a lot of women to make the Wonderbags. Some of them create their own little businesses and they employ people making the Wonderbags. So I think it's a brilliant, brilliant idea. It's sustainable. It's a good way of all of us using less fuel. You do need to use, I discovered when I looked at some recipes and people cooking online, a pan with no handles, with no big handle. It needs to be a kind of square pot, and also not a ceramic pot, not something very thick. You probably want something fairly thin to go in there. So I've got the bottom of my steamer, so that's what I'm going to use to make my minestrone. I will look out in the charity shop for perhaps a slightly bigger one for when we have more people here, because I've got the large size. You get a large or a medium. This is large. You can tell it's quite enormous. So it made me think as well, is they were talking about, it's been coming up on the news, hasn't it, that we may have power outages in the winter because we haven't got enough gas. And I thought, well, you know, I've already bought some candles and I've dug out the camping lamps and things like that just for emergencies. But if you didn't have much in the way of fuel to cook, this would be brilliant, wouldn't it? You'd have to have some form of fuel to get it going. So you maybe could get a stew going on your barbecue or an open fire. You might have some camping gas stoves, and I would say it's worth having a camping gas stove. We've dug ours out when we've been doing our declutter of the shed. So you could get a stew started, bring it to the boil, and then finish it off and use absolute minimum fuel. So if we did have any power outages, it would be another way of being prepared. So this will be the first time that I've used it. I suspect that, well, obviously it makes sense that once you've got everything in your pan, that's it. You can't open it because you'll lose your heat. So you've got to add all of your ingredients at the beginning. So I'm going to be frying off the vegetables first, then adding stock and anything else that doesn't need frying off first, bringing it to the boil, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to be adding anything later. I'll try to add everything that needs to be added at the same time. So I guess there might be an issue with some vegetables that perhaps will be cooked more than you want them to, but I guess that's more likely to happen with slow cooking anyway, whether you're using a Wonderbag or a traditional slow cooker. So anyway, I'll show you how I get on with my Wonderbag. I'm excited to use this. So here is my Wonderbag. I'm just about to open it. This is a lot smaller currently than it's going to be. So the instructions say to remove the packaging, obviously. Do that first. I'm going to dispose of that in a minute. So you can see the bag itself here. So the instructions say smooth out. I don't think I can do much smoothing out. Shake well. I think I need to kind of open it a bit to do that. Let's have a look. So it's got this kind of a toggle effect. Open it out, and it's full of kind of foam chips, I believe. So you want to kind of revive it because it's been vacuum packed. This is growing already. I've never used one of these before, but I have watched a few YouTube videos just to see how it works. Oh yes, it's definitely growing, isn't it? Just loosen them. And you leave it like, you know, when you get a mattress, like a memory foam mattress, and it arrives and it's vacuum packed and it's tiny, and you undo it and you leave it for a few hours and it grows. It's the same principle with the Wonderbag. You want to move these about so that they're even, because you want your food to cook evenly. You don't want big gaps. You can feel they're kind of in little clumps in places, so I'm just trying to kind of release them. Okay, the bottom is a kind of flat pad of foam, and then you've got your lid. So I'm going to leave the Wonderbag now for a few hours before I use it. They did say it could be 24 hours, but I actually want to use it for my dinner tonight, so I think I'm going to do it today, but I'll leave it for a few hours first. I'm making a kind of minestrone soup, so it doesn't need hours and hours and hours. You can leave food up to 8 hours in these, apparently. Okay. Wonderbag, made by Natural Balance. And the interesting thing is it's hand washable. So if you did get any spills on it, you can wash it. Let's get rid of that. So let's leave that and go and get our ingredients ready. So this is what I'm going to put in my minestrone, or sort of minestrone anyway. I've got some celery, which is very sad and needs using up. I've got an onion, even sadder looking courgettes. These are from the garden. They didn't grow that well, these ones. So I'm going to just hide them in this soup. 3 carrots, some olive oil, can of cheapest tomatoes, some tomato puree, a couple of cloves of garlic, some dried mixed herbs. You usually use pasta in minestrone. I am trying to cut back on my gluten intake at the moment, so I'm using rice, about 100 grams of rice, 150 grams of kale, and 2 litres or near thereabouts of chicken stock. So that's it. I'm going to chop veg, fry them up, chuck everything else in, and then stick it in my pot in the Wonderbag. My pot is absolutely knackered. I've had this probably 30 years. It's not great. Nothing in my kitchen is stylish. It works, you know. So I don't care what it looks like. I'm not Nigella. So that's all my veg frying up nicely, apart from the kale, which will go in a minute. So I forgot to say, actually, by way of protein, normally I use bacon in this. I don't have any bacon. I don't really want to eat bacon at the moment, so I'm going to use a can of green lentils to add some sort of protein and boom. So anyway, the rice is going in. My tomato puree is going in. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree-ish. I reckon that was about 2 tablespoons. Two teaspoons, more or less, of dried mixed herbs. A can of my cheap tomatoes. The lentils. I'm not wanting to come out. These have been in the store cupboard for a while. That's one reason I wanted to use them, so I can rotate. I can get some more pulses. Don't use a lot of pulses, but I do like lentils and aduki beans. Give it a little mix. I'll add some salt and pepper now. I don't know, I won't be able to add any during, so it's now and at the end. I've just used chicken stock, but you can use whatever stock really. About 2 litres. Whop that out to the back of the boil. I mean, it doesn't look very thick at the moment, but this is going in. Plus, of course, it's got to cook. Kale, superfood kale. Right, I'm going to bring that to the boil, get it really going well, give it a little bit of a simmer, not much of a simmer, and stick it in my Wonderbag, and we'll see how we go. So I'll put the lid on to bring it to the boil. So hopefully you can hear my soup bubbling away manically in the background. So it's come to a really good boil, and I'm about to put it in the Wonderbag. So hopefully you can see this. I've put a tea towel in the bottom, which they do suggest to help prevent spills, so you don't have to wash it too often. I'm hoping this is going to be okay, this pan, because the lid is not a very good tight fit, but it is probably the best size for me for this Wonderbag. So you see it's got some handles, so if you needed to then move it, you could do. I'm going to leave it exactly where it is. So this is the lid. I don't know, I've seen people just leave it on top, and I pull it tight and leave it on top, and I've seen people tuck it in. To me, it seems to make more sense to tuck it in to kind of stop any escapages of heat. I think the lid must be the weak point. It doesn't feel as kind of thick as the rest of the Wonderbag. So I've got it all in there. I've got to pull it really tight now. This little toggle thing coming into effect. So it took me all of 15 minutes to get it really boiling. So the electricity's gone up about 10p. I've been looking at it on my smart meter. Okay, so I've also added a little bit more seasoning before I put it in here. I put a bit of dark soy and a little bit more salt and pepper. So we are there. I'm going to just put on top another towel for extra insulation, and I'm going to leave that for about 2.5 hours, I think, and hopefully that will all be cooked by the time I come back. Okay, so it's about 2.5 hours later now, so let's see if it's done. I hope it is, because I probably wouldn't do it longer than this in an electric slow cooker, so I hope this is going to be enough time. Let's see. I can feel the heat there. There's still a lot of heat there. Oh, it's really hot. Oh, it's very hot. It's actually slightly too hot to touch. Oh, just get an oven glove. Even though it's plastic, it's really quite hot. Wow. Well, what I would say about that is I probably should have put a little bit more liquid in it. Doing it in this form, it's much more of a stew. But gosh, it's steaming. Can you see? There's steam coming off it. And well, I mean, that all looks cooked to me. I mean, granted, the lentils didn't need really cooking because they were canned. I guess you might do them a bit longer. And the carrots are, I'm just going to taste one. Oh, they're soft. I thought they're soft, but they're firm. They're not, they haven't gone mushy. It does need salt and pepper though, so I'm going to add a bit more salt and pepper, and then that will be ready to eat. I'm pretty pleased with that. That's really very economical, isn't it? Brilliant. That could just do with some nice grated cheese, and then I'll be able to have that for my dinner. Delicious. Pleased with that. Oh my goodness, well, I'm really very pleased with that. It worked so well. Okay, I did only try it with vegetables, but other people have said it cooks chicken and other meat perfectly well. So the next time I try it, I will definitely try a meat recipe. I think it would also be good perhaps for things like rice pudding. I mean, that takes a long time to cook, doesn't it? It could go a bit crusty on top. It's all right if you like that crust on your rice pudding. My mum loves it, but I don't. But you could use it for something like that. That would be really good. So many ways you could use it. I'm sure there are lots of dishes. I'm going to be really enjoying experimenting with my Wonderbag. So if you want to try a Wonderbag, I will leave the link in the description below, and you can get a 10% discount if you use the code. So, happy Wonderbag shopping if that's what you decide to do. There's lots of chat on my Facebook group about people who have used one, who want to try one, and people who have made their own. So if you're that way inclined and you think you could do that, then go ahead and do that. As I said before, it's great. I like the idea of supporting the social enterprise myself. I think it's a great idea and a really good company, so I'm really happy to support it. I'm also rubbish at sewing, so what's the point of me attempting to make my own Wonderbag? As I said before, I think they'd make fantastic gifts, a really nice Christmas present. I think some people will be getting a Wonderbag from me for Christmas. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do give me the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more money-saving videos. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.